Anemoia. Noun. Nostalgia for a time or place you've never known. There was an abandoned dairy farm down the hill from my childhood home. As a kid, I spent a lot of time there, talking to ghosts, playing pretend, finding sanctuary in the past, even though it wasn't my own. Which didn't matter because every time I went, I had this funny feeling that I'd been there before, and I felt safe. There, in that serenity, I could escape the harsh reality of the world, until it burned down, and the abandoned dairy farm was no more. And then we moved away. And then I forgot about it. Until one morning, over 20 years later, exactly 1 week before Memorial Day of 2020, I had a dream that I was back inside the abandoned dairy farm from my childhood. And in the dream, I had that funny feeling down in my stomach again, like I'd been there before. In the dream, I felt safe. And when I woke up, I wanted that serenity again. I wanted to escape the harsh reality of the world because it was 2020, and everything we thought we knew had changed overnight. I wanted to go talk to ghosts. I wanted to play pretend. I wanted to find sanctuary in the past, even though it wasn't my own. But in my imagination, it was. And that was healing. And so I got out of bed, wondering if there were abandoned spaces near me where I live. And I opened my computer and did a Google search. And shit, they're everywhere. I began to venture out to these spaces, take photos, and then I began to write about what was going on inside my imagination as I explored these relics of the past, and slowly but surely, All American Ruins, a blog, was born. Friends near and far would write to me and say, "I wish I could go with you." And I'd say, "But you can." And they'd say, "Oh, but I feel too scared to go." And that's when it hit me. If I couldn't take people with me, maybe I could take the stories I'd been writing for the blog and adapt them into an experience that people could take with them, wherever they go. And so, Abandoned, the All American Ruins podcast was born. My name is Blake File, and I'm an artist, activist, adventurer, and loudmouth based in the Hudson Valley, New York. I host a weekly radio program on Radio Kingston WKNY called The File, and I am a longtime fan of audio storytelling. Join me for this first season of Abandoned, the All American Ruins podcast, as I take you on a sonic journey, recounting my expeditions of abandoned spaces across the United States, transformed into fantastical audio experiences that allow you, dear listener, to dive into my imagination with me, or maybe inspire you to go out and use your own. We'll visit an abandoned Air Force base, a couple of abandoned resorts, a couple of factories, plants, psychiatric facilities, even a bunker in California, and private homes where lives were once lived and phantoms now linger. It's going to be a wild ride, so make sure you subscribe now, because when the first episode drops on Memorial Day of 2022, you'll be ready to go. That's Abandoned, the All American Ruins podcast, hitting your favorite podcast provider on Monday, May 30th. In the meantime, if you like to read or enjoy amateur photography, you can also catch up on more of my adventures at allamericanruins.com or follow me on Instagram at allamericanruins. I'll see you on Memorial Day for our first adventure together.